What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Scouting Combine here on the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm joined by my co-host, Eric Smith. Eric, Coach, how we doing today?
Hey, doing good. We're right in the middle of a great period of football where I think there's about 2 weeks that we're right in the middle of right now, where there's not more than one day where we don't have NFL action. Obviously looking forward to Sunday, but there's definitely a lot of stuff going on to keep us busy till then.
Of course, there's a lot of college football playoffs games coming on, along with the Christmas game that was on Christmas Day. Crazy game for the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson looks like he's the front runner for the MVP. It's pretty much between him and the Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen at this point. But today we're going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins. But specifically, we're going to take a look at the trenches, how they fared up against the San Francisco 49ers, and if this can be translatable up in Cleveland, will they be playing in cold conditions. Eric, before we get into the defensive line, offensive line, what were your initial thoughts after the game and reviewing some of the film?
My film review wasn't much different than my immediate reaction after the 49ers game, and that is that the Dolphins played well in that game, but the 49ers are not a good team right now. They're a very depleted team, and you saw the Dolphins. One thing I did notice was just how much the Dolphins really put the attention towards Nick Bosa, and that was because the 49ers just don't have those other guys to take that attention away from him. So I great win. Definitely some positives in terms of the running game and some other things they got going, but I didn't think this was a big groundbreaking win for the Dolphins that you look at them as getting over the hump or anything like that. Thankfully, we got two more lower end opponents coming up, and I think that we should continue to see that kind of growth, but I don't think that we're going to be able to make any declarations for the rest of the season that we've made massive gains from what we've seen earlier in the season.
Right. They're pretty much in the playoff hunt, and they need to win out the next two games and have a little bit of help where either the Broncos drop their last two or the Chargers drop their last two, and they somehow make the playoffs with a potential 9-8 record. I think before the season, when we were speaking in the offseason, when we were doing our offseason preview with the Five Reasons Fins group, I had the Dolphins at 10-7, and that was with Tua healthy. What if that happens with one game off? If they were 10-7, they could have had the fifth seed.
Yeah, tough breaks. Can't change anything that's happened. They've definitely messed up some opportunities that they had on their own, and have nobody to blame for where the Dolphins are but themselves.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into the film review. We'll be talking a little bit about the defensive line first. We'll take a look at some Chop Robinson snaps, and we'll break it down right here. This was in the first quarter. This was a 2nd and 17. Yep, 2nd and 17, where Brock Purdy was sacked for 6 yards. All right, the personnel that we have right here is we have two edge rushers, four linebackers, actually. You have Deshaun Hand and Zach Sealer as your primary defensive tackles. You have four pass rushers or four linebackers and Chop, Quentin Bell, Jordan Brooks, Anthony Walker. And you have five defensive backs, so you're pretty much playing a little bit of a dime defensive look right here. We'll go ahead and run the play, 2nd and 17. The 49ers are in a 3-by-1 bunch look. Then George Kittle motions out. And it creates a little bit of a 2-by-2 set right here. Now, when we're taking a look at the defense right here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players up along the line of scrimmage. It looks like Kader Kohou and Jalen Ramsey are playing press. You have Chop Robinson way out wide right here, and you're having three defensive tackles come right here. I think by now, Eric, after doing our film reviews, especially on the offensive and defensive line, you could potentially see that the 49ers offensive line is going to be sliding to the right because they have more defenders on that side of the field.
Yeah, this is something we've talked about a lot during our film reviews, and this is the defensive coordinator's ability to dictate the pass protections they're getting. And when you see an alignment like this, you're typically going to get a three-quarter slide to the offense's left, where you're getting the right guard and everybody to his left is all going to slide to the left to create a 4-on-3 over on that left side versus, if you only went with a half slide and you let the center, take care of the other defensive tackle there, then you're, putting a 2 versus 1 situation on Chop Robinson, and that he's earned that, but it's tough for an offense to, just say, hey, we're gonna solely put 2 offensive linemen on 1 defensive end. So in most cases, you're gonna get your 3-quarter slide to the left, and you're gonna create that 1v1 opportunity for Chop Robinson and the right tackle.
Yep. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4 right here trying to handle 3 defenders. You have Brooks coming up straight, untouched from the B gap. And you have Chop Robinson going one-on-one against, I think that was Colton McKivitz, if I'm not wrong. Yep, pretty much. And then you have Walker coming in on another blitz. You have 3 offensive linemen taking care of Emmanuel Ogba and Deshaun Hand. I'm sorry, is that Emmanuel Ogba?
I think that's Ogba's dropping, maybe. Or is that?
That is Zach Sealer and Deshaun Hand. So Zach Sealer is actually lined up inside right here. So that's Zach Sealer and Deshaun Hand. You have Quentin Bell and Chop Robinson right here.
Bell, yeah.
Yep. So you have Quentin Bell dropping a little bit to the flat. Brooks blitzing over the B gap. Walker coming through as well on Chop Robinson one-on-one. Jordan Brooks takes a shot to the hips. He's still trying to make this play. He gets his hand, and Chop also helps to assist.
Yeah, that ability to stay on his feet there was ridiculous by Jordan Brooks. And we talk about complementary pass rush, and that's what you have to have. Chop is winning around the edge there, but if you don't have that pressure up the middle, then McKivitz just basically, runs him around the hoop there, and Purdy can step up. But by having that pressure up the middle from Brooks as well, kind of creates that vice effect where you really can't step up or step back because you're getting squeezed from both sides.
Right. You're talking about dictating pass protection right here. You have more people along this side compared to this side, and you're Anthony Weaver right here. You're like, okay. I have Colton McKivitz, the backup right tackle, playing up against Chop Robinson, who has been my pass rusher as of late. If I can square up some one-on-one opportunities for him and, get him some help where it's only one person focusing on him and I substitute the other 3 or 4 players on the other side, match him up one-on-one, I'm going to take a gamble and see that my guy's speed will get there up against someone who's more experienced like Colton McKivitz. So go ahead and run the play. We'll take a look what the offensive line does. Yep, 3/4 of a slide, and Brooks just coming up straight through the B gap. This is exactly how Anthony Weaver wanted it drawn up because you're having the interior defensive lineman also slide to the left. They're dictating that pass pro, slide left, slide left, slide left, slide left. You're going to have an open B gap somehow if you're going to have one-on-one pressure, one-on-one matchup with Chop and Colton McKivitz. So you're going to have an opening. Is this just a fantastic play call by Anthony Weaver right here, knowing what the pass protection could be like before the snap?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, when you can dictate where the line is going, if you can make a safe guess that they're going to be in a 3/4 slide to the left, that McKivitz has to get out there to Robinson. And, as wide as Robinson is, he's got to set wide right off the snap. So you're opening that gap up. And the only guy that's left to get him is going to be that running back that's coming from the far side of the formation. So, I think this is a great call by Weaver. Sometimes these are the type of things that are, pre-planned throughout the week that when you see a certain look, that it's kind of a check to it. But whether it's something that Weaver saw throughout the game and sent this in as a call, or whether it was something that they repped throughout the week during practice, either way, this is a great job of coaching to create this opportunity.
Now, one thing I want to focus on right here is Chop Robinson's get off, right? He's getting off. His hands aren't even on him. I think something which he can expand on throughout the off season is him not trying to be touched, him trying to loop a little bit either inside and do a swim move to come back on the outside to grab the quarterback by surprise, where he's just trying to get his hands on him. He's trying to do a bull rush. Like as a pass rusher, the best thing is for yourself not to get your hands. You don't want the offensive lineman's hands on you. So he's got to find some type of move where the offensive line can't even touch him and he's rushing free.
Yeah, I agree completely. That's going to be, a focus for him in the offseason to be able to find a way to use his hands, when they're creating contact there, to work on the offensive lineman's hands to keep them off of him. I mean, he does a great job of, when he's able to dip around the edge and get low, right? That's just a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's opportunities here where you can swat those hands before you get into that move and prevent the offensive lineman's hands from getting on you.
All right, we'll take a look at the second sack here. Well, the 1.5 sack for Chop Robinson in this game. I'll go ahead and take a look real quick. All right, once again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players along the line of scrimmage. You have Jordan Poyer matched up what it looks like to be with George Kittle. He bails out in a type of zone. You have a little bit what looks like pre-snap, a cover 3. Poyer builds out, and once again, we'll take a look at the offensive line and defensive line. What's your best guess pre-snap what the offensive line is going to be doing right here?
My best guess with this would be just a 5v5, man protection, and that on the left side there that the left tackle would take the the guy that's further inside, whether it's Poyer or Duke Riley would come, and if they would both come, maybe that's where the running back is going to come across and help with that protection. But I'm thinking it's 4v4 straight up. Other than that, and that you kind of have an option there based on who comes with the left tackle is how I would see this based on this alignment.
There you go. It's a 4v4. Left tackle is pretty much helping on this double team right here. George Kittle looks like he's going to be just a tight end release right here. And you have Chop Robinson come through as he stunts inside. Free rusher, no one on him again. Just like we said, having those moves, creating those opportunities where Chop gets a free rush and boom, he sacks him right there. But we'll take a look at the end zone view right here. All right, you have Calais Campbell, Zach Sealer, Emmanuel Ogba, Duke Riley, and Chop Robinson right there. I don't see Jordan Brooks on this field. Let's see if he's on the field. Jordan Brooks was not on the field because he did get hurt on a prior play to this, which is why Duke Riley was in. All right, we're having the defensive linemen crash a little bit to the outside. They're sliding a little bit to the outside, which opens up an opportunity for Chop Robinson to pretty much stunt inside. So it looks like Anthony Weaver is noticing, hey, my guy Chop Robinson, he's probably the fastest defender on the field. I need to create some opportunities for him to pressure and rush the quarterback. The best way to pressure the quarterback and rush the quarterback and speed up his drop and speed up his play clock is what, Eric?
Pressure up the middle.
Exactly. Pressure him up the middle. You get his feet muddy. He can't look down the field that well. And he's scrambling for his life. Boom. Sack. Done. Play's over with. Play's pretty much over with for 28 out of the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL right here.
Yeah, you got a couple that can beat that. That was another great design by Weaver. We talked about what the offensive line is looking at here, and you can see, the tackle is helping out, but really Ogba is occupying that guard. He's not pressing to the inside of that because he knows that stunt's going to be there. He's staying in that B gap to leave that A gap where Chop is coming through open. And then, both Sealer and Campbell, when we talk about things that don't show up on the stat sheet, their ability to, set the table for other players. They do it for each other a lot. But in this scenario, they're both setting the table for Chop here. Sealer, we've talked about him before being one of the most underrated players in the NFL. And I think that he's finally getting the recognition that he deserves. So on a play like this, right, that guard isn't reacting right away. So, Sealer has the respect that even if that Brendel, the center, sees Chop coming, he can't just turn Sealer loose either.
He needs to be able to have a little bit of a grip on Brendel, so that way Brendel actually takes the time to pull away and try to get Chop, but he doesn't.
Yep. So, yeah, just the respect that Sealer gets there, the guard bit in there a little late, and just creates a free rush for Chop. So another great design by Weaver, excellent execution by Sealer specifically. But even Ogba just understanding the situation and not collapsing where they're trying to bring that blitz.
All right, here's another fantastic play by Zach Sealer that did show up on the stat sheet. I think we were all bewildered by this play right here. We'll go ahead and take a look at the personnel. You have Benito, Zach Ogba, and Calais Campbell on the defensive line. For your linebackers, you have Quentin Bell, Jordan Brooks, and Anthony Walker, and 4 defensive backs right on the field is pretty much your goal line package. You're thinking they might run it. You're thinking they might pass it. Let's just get our big boys up in the trenches and win up mano a mano. All right. What are you seeing pre-snap right here, Eric?
You're basically seeing a 6-man front. You've got your 5 offensive linemen and George Kittle there as well. So if we're looking at a pass, you would typically see a half slide to the right because you have Kittle helping out on the left as well, and basically create a 6v6 pass protection situation here.
All right, we'll go ahead and run the play. It's motion for Pearsall. All right, there we go. What do we see right off the bat here, though, Eric? You're taking a look at Zach Sealer right here. He just rips this thing and rips that swim move and comes straight through the gap. Look at that. Good golly.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like a full slide protection. Everybody there, including Kittle, was all going to the right. And you can see that I think the left guard there expected the left tackle to cover that gap on the slide, and that just never happened. And, when you are a step late with a guy as explosive as Sealer, then you're never going to have a chance. I would say that Purdy is probably lucky that, he got taken down by his ankle instead of having Sealer just at a full sprint running through him on that.
We'll go ahead and take a look at this play one more time. Here we go. And I think Benito Jones was occupying both offensive linemen right here, so that way Sealer could rip through. Yeah, he's taking 2 offensive linemen right here. As big as he is, dang. Look at that. He's taking up the right guard and the center. That's why the left guard, he didn't get any help from the left tackle right here, it's not Trent Williams. Who is it? It's Jalen Moore. I think he might be a second-year tackle. But look right here. Benito is occupying 2 offensive linemen. Zach is pretty much going one-on-one. Calais is out on the outside, so he looks like he's going to get double-teamed right here, Calais Campbell. And he kind of does. He gets his hands on the left tackle, and Kittle's trying to block him as well. It's pretty much one-on-one with Zach Sealer and the left guard right here, and he just rips his swim move and goes right through, disrupts the play. That's a big game disruptor right there.
Absolutely.
And this is the final play, which we'll be taking a look at the defensive line specifically for Zach Sealer. This was pretty much the game clinching interception where uh, Zach Sealer had a big part in this play, and we know that Cater Kohu pretty much picked off Brock Purdy. But we're going to take a look and deep dive this play as to what happened. All right, you have one, two, three, four defensive linemen along the line of scrimmage. It looks like you may be playing man coverage right here. It looks like Jalen Ramsey is pressed up right here. Cater Kohu is pressed up as well. You have the deep safety. It looks like Jordan Poyer way right on the hash. Really pretty much on the middle of the field. Pre-snap, Eric, what are you thinking the offensive line does?
I mean, it's a balanced formation. You've got the tight end to the left, you got the running back to the right. So really, depending on which one you want to keep in to add to that protection, you've only got 4 defensive linemen, up on the line of scrimmage there. So you could slide, half slide left or right with this. Just making sure that whichever side you don't slide, that you have that linebacker accounted for.
The motion to Debo comes and Cater Kohu shifts a little bit towards the inside. All right, let's take a look at right off the get off. Chop Robinson is untouched. Zach Sealer is sliding a little bit towards the right side. He's trying to take on 2 defenders right here. And watch what he does. He bulldozes in to give Calais Campbell some space, and Calais Campbell comes off, tries to go inside, boom, pressures him, pick, game-winning pick right there. So Zach Sealer pretty much sets up Calais Campbell to pressure, and Brock Purdy throws the game-sealing interception. That's what it looks like to us. We'll slow it down real quick. Balance formation. Yep, it looks like the 2 defenders are crashing inside Sealer and Campbell. Campbell pretty much has a double team on him. Sealer goes, let me help you out there, bud. Let me also double team this guy so that way you can pull off. He pulls off. Chop Robinson is coming in hot. I mean, he's coming in hot right there. He's bending down already. And Calais Campbell is going to go untouched right here. Ooh, it looks like I think Emmanuel Ogba might have gotten away with the hands to the face right there.
Yeah, certainly could have been called. This is one of those situations. Take it back to the top of it. When they go to a half slide protection here, so your center, your right guard, and your right tackle, they're all looking to their gap to the right. And then on the left side, you're in a man protection on the left side. So your left tackle has Ogba, your left guard has Sealer. And this is where these type of stunts, these interior twists, can really create some confusion, because that left guard, like I said, half slide protection, he is in a man protection against Sealer here. So, it takes a lot of good communication from the offensive line to be able to take your left guard from your man side and then be able to incorporate him to your slide side to the right when you have these guys switching. And I think that's where the confusion for the offensive line comes here, right? Is that, the center is looking to the right side there. He's not necessarily looking for Sealer to come from his left side. So, and same thing with the guard, right? That left guard has had a long day against Sealer all day, and he's thinking, I'm blocking man on man, can't get beat, right? And Sealer is slanting, so he's really got to commit to it. And if, looking where he is now, like usually when you can get an offensive lineman with his feet perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, you're in good shape. And that's what's happening here, is that Sealer is getting him turned. So as Campbell's coming around, that guard has, we see Aaron Brewer do a really good job sometimes of this, of dropping that left foot and being able to swing the hips around, but that's a special trait to have. And it's not something that your backup left guard for the 49ers is going to have. So from the position that he's in right now, once Sealer gets that clean release off of this protection, right, there's no way that he's getting blocked from there.
Yep. Chop Robinson is honing in. Calais Campbell comes straight through. Pressure immediately. Chop almost gets home right there. If he can control his hands, he could have potentially touched the ball right there. And Calais Campbell is just honing in like a heat-seeking missile and delivers it. Boom, picked off.
Yep, got that complimentary pass rush again. We talked about that earlier in this video. You got that guy coming around the edge and Chop Robinson. You're creating that push up the middle, creates that vice where the quarterback can't move, and his only choice is to throw it and take a shot in the chest.
Yep, that's pretty much it for the defensive line on this part of the show. All right, now we're on the topic of the offensive line, and the hot topic was the spell of Isaiah Wynn and Liam Eichenberg on the left guard position. You had some drives where Isaiah Wynn was in, Isaiah Wynn started, then he was taken off, and then Liam Eichenberg was in, then Eichenberg was taken off, and then sporadic Wynn and Eichenberg were in there, and they were kind of shifting personnel based on inside runs and outside runs, and I think it was really dependent on what Mike McDaniel wanted to run right here. But let's take a look at this play. It's something that I haven't seen before, but the concept still stays the same. Eric, I'll let you go ahead and take this one away because this play right here kind of surprised me. Okay, your personnel right here, you have Jonnu Smith, Tyreek Hill, Durham Smythe, Devon Achane, and Raheem Mostert. So it's pretty much your pony package, your pony personnel where you have two running backs on the field. It looks like, with Devon Achane out there, it could be a pass play, right? That's what it might tend to look like. But it's actually a run. And Eric, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so this is a concept that the Dolphins used a lot last year. They haven't had as much success with it this year. And part of that has been that it's been too predictable for teams to pick up. And that's going to be their crack toss concept. And that's going to be where I think it's Durham Smythe there on the top is going to block down on Bosa. You're going to have Lamb leading around the edge, and then everybody else is essentially blocking outside zone. But, the way that Miami has been getting to it more recently, we saw this against the last week on the play that Tyreek got called for a hold, is that rather than tossing it to the up back and letting him race to the outside, they're bringing Achane in this short motion and then tossing it back to him to the outside. So you're essentially, running crack toss and tossing it to your slot receiver. So definitely a nice little wrinkle to still be able to get to the same play. It hit pretty well when they ran it last week, other than getting called back for the hold. And here you see it having some good potential again.
Yeah, we'll take a look on this end zone angle. And on this play, you have Isaiah Wynn run blocking out here. And he's pretty much manned up on number 99, which is Malik Collins. He's a big boy, right? He's a big boy. He's one of the big boys on the 49ers defensive line. Again, you have Durham Smythe crashing on Nick Bosa. You have Kendall Lamb coming to the outside. And Isaiah Wynn is just trying to hold and maintain his integrity. And he just holds him. And he just wipes him out of the play. And Fred Warner, holy crap, man. That guy is an animal. He's a beast. And Aaron Brewer tries to get his hands on him. He does. And Warner just uses his speed to get more so towards the outside of Brewer's right shoulder to make a play on Devon Achane.
If you look at the original alignment there, that block that Isaiah Wynn is making is really tough. Like that defender is almost a full body over from him. And, Wynn does a good job of getting to that outside and just continuing to work to the outside. And that's something that we've seen Liam get beat by this same block, right? And
he's pretty much stretched over and he falls over. I think it was a play last week.
Yeah, and you see Wynn be able to get to that spot, but not just be able to get to that spot, but be able to maintain that balance to stay with that player, and that's what you need to have on this type of play. Ideally, you get around and you set the anchor and just seal him inside, but it's still acceptable to be able to get face to face with him, be able to mirror him and create a little bit of vertical push that ideally, if Janu has a little better block there, creates some angles that Achan can work with at full speed. But that was still a good job by Wynn on that play.
All right. This was more so in the fourth quarter, where the Dolphins are pretty much trying to ice this game. Isaiah Wynn once again as the right guard in this game. It's a declared run. Another toss play. Good solid run by Devon Achane to get 8 yards. Successful rush play on 1st and 10. We'll go ahead and take a look at the end zone angle right here. We know this ball is headed over to the left side. And we'll take a look at Isaiah Wynn once again. Malik Collins, a body over for him, just takes him, and Wynn is able to get up to the second level easily, gets his hands. And I think that's Malik Mustafa, and Devon Achane just uses his angle, uses his speed to get around Mustafa. I think for Isaiah Wynn right here, as big of a guy he is, he's not going to outrun a 6'1", 6', 210-pound safety. He tries to get his hands on him right there. Is a bit unsuccessful, and Mustafa could have made this play, but Devon Achane uses his vision, angles out, and wriggles his way out of a potential tackle.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of little stuff there. If you go back to the beginning, you can see, you don't want to necessarily see Wynn's shoulders turning away from the play there. You want to see him stay a little more square, knowing that he's going to the next level, right? You want to see him just kind of throwing that right hand out and posting it up for Lamb to get there. But even with that, the ability, to flip around and get what he did. I mean, this is a backside pursuit player. This isn't a player that should really be involved with the play. And if things had been handled better on the front side, then, an Achane doesn't have to slow down the backfield, then he probably doesn't have a chance at it at all. But when being able to get out there and, adjust the angle that Mustafa has to take there, he's not able to just take a straight downhill run into the play where maybe he's knifing into the backfield there. Just being able to get out there and create that extra bubble that Mustafa has to take is still a good job by Wynn on this play.
It is, and we'll take a look at the touchdown play for Devon Achane right here, which pretty much, like, the game was out of reach for the 49ers right then and right there. This was behind Isaiah Wynn right here. I think this is probably one of your favorite play calls as an offensive line coach. Very simple, execute it well, and it's always going to be a big play for these Miami Dolphins. So take it away, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, so it's really the same thing as we just saw with the last play, and it's something that Frank Smith talked about earlier this season, and that's just running strong side, outside zone. I know that, Ingold is aligned away, but you can see that he comes into that motion, and you're running towards the tight end. You're bringing a fullback. You're not, trying to dress it up and use, an orbit motion or anything else like that. This isn't a surprise for the defense that this is what they're running, and we said at the top of this podcast that nothing earth shattering was established with this game, but at the same time, this is still a step in the right direction that when the game is on the line and you're trying to ice this game, that you don't have to go to, we can use the crack toss from earlier as an example. We're not trying to ice the game with the stuff that's a little more cute, you could say. With that, we're lining up and we are running strong side outside zone, which is what Mike McDaniel, it's what Frank Smith have said, they want to be the core concept of this offense. So this was, them saying, this is our core concept. This is what we're going to go to, and we're just going to be better than you in this case.
We'll take a look at the end zone angle, see how this matches made. Now, a strong side outside zone concept, you're going this way, right? Like you're trying to create an angle, you're trying to create a hole for the running back to hit through. The biggest thing in this concept is that the guard and the tackle have to be on the same page and try to create that hole, especially if it's going to the strong side. The strong side of the formation, it's already declared. It's right here. This is the strong side of the formation. Again, the strong side is where you have more people along the line of scrimmage. We'll go ahead and run the play.
Yeah, and you're gonna get. I mean, this play can obviously cut back, but the idea of these outside zone plays is that you're creating 2v2 scenarios to simplify stuff, right? So when we're looking at this, you've got Ingold coming in motion. It's going to be Ingold and Julian Hill versus Nick Bosa and number 2, right? And based on where Bosa goes is going to dictate what Ingold does. And we're going to see that Bosa is going to kind of, peek to the inside, lose his balance, and go to the outside. And, Ingold sees number 2 flying over the top. So Ingold's going to go to the outside, right? So those two are handled 2v2. And then if you bring it back and we look at the next combination, and that's going to be Lamb and Wynn, right? So you've got the defensive tackle and Fred Warner. Mm-hmm. The defensive tackle does not slant into the play, so Lamb doesn't have to stay and really help. Wynn does a good job of, it's not a great fit to start. You want to see his head more to the center or to the right side. But like we talked about with the crack toss earlier, does a good job of continuing to run his feet, keep his balance. And then the block by Julian really widens this out. And then Lamb, in my opinion, was the biggest block on this one because he gets to that level, gets on Warner. And if you look where Warner is versus where he ends up, right, that's what allows Achane just to stay on path and continue through that hole into the third level.
Yep. They just need to simplify their play calls and execute the damn play. They executed the damn play right there. Like, we're up already. It's the fourth quarter. It's pretty much out of it for the 49ers, but they need to be able to do this when they're down by 3, down by 7. They need a momentum swing. Like, you've done this play before. If you're able to see a similar front like this, personnel like this, you go to your best play and you're like, okay, they're lining it up. 2 is seeing it. Hey, can. We're getting out of this pass. We're running strong side, outside zone. Let's do it. My guard can beat this tackle. My right tackle should be able to take this edge rusher or this linebacker. And we'll go ahead a little bit over to the Browns preview in about 2 to 3 minutes. We'll take a look at Myles Garrett and Mohamed Diabate from what Eric tweeted out a little bit earlier. My guys can beat your guys straight up. And I know we'll be able to do this. I can the play. You guys either think it's a pass, it's either a run. I know it's a run. We're going to win this. We're down by 3. We're down by 7. Let's get this momentum going right here. And again, what happens? Isaiah Wynn stonewalls Malik Collins. He's driving up the field. Julian Hill is able to get onto Nick Bosa. Ingold, he's like, okay, Hill is handling Bosa. Let me get to the outside so that way Demondre Lenoir can't do anything. And Lamb, he's got a clear shot at Fred Warner. Let me get his hands on him, snatches him by the shoulder pads, moves him over. Achane's got a straight line speed. Boom. Touchdown. Is it that hard, Eric? Is it that hard?
Shouldn't be. It definitely shouldn't be. And, we talked about before that Mike McDaniel at times, seems like he's trying to be the smartest guy on the field when it's not necessary. And this is an example of where, didn't have to outsmart the guy on the other sideline, just had to line up and, run the play that you've probably run the most all year in practice, have the most reps at it, and just have to be able to execute at a high level.
Of course. And here we go with a little bit of a Browns defensive preview to see if the Dolphins can continue this dominance in the road game if Isaiah Wynn continues to be the left guard. Eric, was really kind enough and was very smart enough to take a look at this Browns defense, how Myles Garrett, Mohamed Diabate, and this defense fits the run. And you're talking about this Bengals offensive line, which not many Miami Dolphins fans know, but this Bengals offensive line is much, 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 much worse than this Dolphins offensive line. And we'll take a look at some of these plays right here. You're stating, I hear the Dolphins fans complain about the Dolphins offensive line, but it could be much, much worse. So this is going to be a trap play from the Bengals. Can you explain what a trap play is? I'll go ahead and slow the speed.
Yeah, I mean, so trap is typically where you leave one defensive lineman, usually a defensive tackle, unblocked, and you bring somebody from the other side of the line, usually the guard, to kick them out. Typically, this is a play that gets run at the youth level across the country. A day one install for 9 and 10-year-olds, and they know that you got to block the middle linebacker. I'm not exactly
what the heck happened here.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you see this and you see somebody kind of have like a late reaction, like an oh crap. We have two guys going to the same defender type of deal. But however the Bengals drew this up, like everybody looks pretty convicted with who they're going after. There is nobody being like, oh crap. And when you watch it all play out, nobody blocks number 43 here, and he still doesn't do a good job of really making the play.
Mm-hmm. All right, where's the next one? You got a lot of reactions right here. You might have done a little bit more on Myles Garrett, so we got to take a look at that. And here's where we got one of Myles Garrett right here. You're saying that losing would be an embarrassment if the Dolphins offense can't get the run game going again like how they did up against the San Francisco 49ers. Explain why.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Myles Garrett. He is a great player. When he's motivated. But I think at this point in the season, like watching him play, looks to me like he's thrown in the towel basically, and he's still getting off the ball. And if he can get a quick win in as a pass rusher, he's going to give good effort. But if he doesn't get an immediate win in the pass rush, or it's a run play, like we talk about running outside zone to his side. I wouldn't be surprised if we're able to run to the left side and he just runs up field because he's trying to turn the corner, and we're able just to run underneath him all day because he's not going to show any interest in getting back into the play. This one, he's, taking that quick step to the inside, and as soon as he's beat to the inside, like there's just no effort at all to fight back out into that play. And that was just a regular thing that I saw with Garrett, watching him over these last couple games here.
And then you take a look, Mohamed Diabate really get his arms on him. He's in position to make the tackles, and he whiffs. Like, he reads – what is he reading? He reads it differently, where he thinks Chase Brown is going to continue on this same path. He gives a little bit of a space, and Brown shifts over and just whiffs the tackle.
Yeah, just poor run fits with the number 43 there, Diabate. He's got to know that who has the edge on that's clearly not going to be him. I mean, he's playing middle linebacker, so he's not going to have the edge. He needs to understand that stunt that Garrett's going to the inside, so that outside linebacker is going to be the one that's fitting up on the edge. So Diabate should know that he has to, fill that lane inside the tight end there, and he ends up overrunning it as if he's trying to get to the outside, ends up in poor position, and then can't make the play.
So is it going to be an embarrassment if the Dolphins lose on Sunday?
Absolutely. Both sides of the ball, really. And we just looked at some defensive stuff there, but offensively isn't much better for the Browns. I mean, they have some good interior offensive linemen, but their tackle play is not good right now. Their running backs are underwhelming. The quarterback play, is Thompson Robinson starting. I think there might have been somebody else based on a possible injury that may have been in the mix. But, if it's not Thompson Robinson, then it's going to be, I don't know, somebody even worse than him. And Thompson Robinson creates some some conflicts with his athleticism, but at the same time, he's not a good passer. You think of him as a option type quarterback, but some of the clips that I put out there, like he's making bad decisions as a running quarterback as well. So as long as the Dolphins come out and play sound fundamental football on both sides, then they're going to be light years ahead of where the Browns are right now.
Yeah, and if it's any similarity between this 49ers offensive line and this Browns offensive line, which it sounds like there is, the Dolphins defensive line with Zach Sealer, Calais Campbell, Chop Robinson should be able to have a similar type of income. But the narratives are there, man. This Dolphins offense in the cold, people think they can't play in the cold when they've done well in Buffalo the last 2 to 3 seasons. So we'll see how it goes. And it's a must-win game for these Dolphins. If they win this game, they still have a chance to make the playoffs, pending if the Broncos and the Chargers, one of those two teams, lose both games, and it's a win-and-get-in scenario for these Dolphins. All right, y'all, stick with us here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, the Scouting Combine on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Make sure you also take a look at 3 yards per carry and Pulse of Fins Nation on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. As always, y'all, go Fins.